Every month for 20 years, I sent my parents $800. I didn't question it. I didn't think twice. They were my parents, and they told me they needed help. But here's the thing nobody warns you about. Sometimes the people you trust most are the ones quietly destroying your financial future. I'm not talking about scams or identity theft. I'm talking about something way more painful: family. Let me take you back to where this actually started. I was 27, fresh out of college, finally had a decent job, wearing a suit every day. Felt like I'd made it, you know? Then one Sunday, my dad calls, says they're struggling with the bills. Medical costs piling up, the house needs repairs, mom's been stressed. And you know what? It felt good to help. For the first time in my life, I could actually do something for the people who raised me. $800 a month, I could swing it. Sure, it meant staying in my tiny studio apartment a little longer, maybe pushing back some of my own goals, but that's what family does, right? You sacrifice. So I set up the automatic transfer. First of every month, $800, like clockwork. Year one turned into year two. Year two turned into five. And honestly, I stopped even thinking about it. It just became part of my budget. Rent, utilities, groceries, parents. That was the order. But something weird started happening around year 7. My friends were buying houses, getting married, having kids, starting businesses. And I was stuck. Still in that same studio apartment, still driving my beat-up car from college, still living like I was broke, even though I was making decent money. I'd look at my bank account and think, where is it all going? Then I'd remember, all right, $800 a month, times 12 months, times 7 years. That's $67,000. But that number didn't scare me yet, because I thought it was going to medical bills, mortgage payments, keeping my parents afloat. I thought I was being a good son. Year 10 hit, and my girlfriend started asking questions. We wanted to move in together, maybe buy a small place, but every time we crunched the numbers, I came up short. No down payment saved, no emergency fund. She asked me point blank, "Where does your money go?" And I told her, I help my parents, $800 a month. They need me. She looked at me weird, said something I'll never forget. She said, "Have you ever actually seen their bills?" I brushed it off, got defensive actually. Like, these are my parents. I know they're struggling. They wouldn't lie to me. But that question, it planted a seed. Year 12, I got passed over for a promotion, not because I wasn't qualified, but because I couldn't afford to take the advanced certification courses I needed. You know what those courses cost? $3,000. You know how much I'd sent my parents by that point? Over $115,000. The math started haunting me. Year 15, my best friend started a business. Asked if I wanted to invest early. Ground floor opportunity. He needed 10 grand. I didn't have it. I watched him build that company into something incredible, while I kept sending money to my parents every month. That's when the resentment started creeping in. Not toward them, toward myself. For being stuck, for missing opportunities while everyone around me was moving forward. But I still didn't stop the payments, because every time I thought about it, I'd feel this crushing wave of guilt. What kind of person cuts off their struggling parents? Year 18. My cousin got married. Big family reunion. And that's when everything shattered. I drove to my parents' house the day before the wedding, just stopping by to say hi. And the moment I pulled into their driveway, I felt my stomach drop. There was a new luxury car parked where my dad's old sedan used to be. Shiny, expensive. The kind of car I'd been dreaming about but couldn't afford. I walked up to the house, and through the window, I saw my mom unpacking shopping bags, designer logos, the expensive stuff. And on their dining table, travel brochures, cruise ships, the Caribbean. I stood there on their front porch, hand frozen on the doorknob, and this thought screamed through my head. These people are struggling? I went inside, acted normal, but my eyes were open now, really open. New furniture, a 70-inch TV I didn't remember from last visit, my mom wearing a handbag that cost more than my monthly grocery budget, my dad scrolling through his phone in the living room, and I caught a glimpse of his screen. Country club membership renewal. They were living the retirement dream, while I was living paycheck to paycheck in a studio apartment, single, no savings, no assets, sacrificing everything so they could, what, go on cruises? I didn't say anything that day. I couldn't. I was too angry, too confused, too betrayed. I went home and did something I should have done 15 years earlier. I pulled up my bank statements, every single transfer, every month for 18 years. $172,000. That's not a typo. $172,000. Money I sent because I thought they were drowning. Money I could have used for a house, for investments, for building my own life. But instead, I was 38 years old with nothing to show for it. And my parents were booking Caribbean cruises with my money. The next Sunday, I drove back to their house. No warning, just showed up. I asked my dad to sit down, asked my mom to join us, and I asked them straight up, "Why do you need $800 a month from me?" The look on their faces, I'll never forget it. Not guilt, not shame, confusion. Like they didn't understand why I was even asking. My dad actually said, "Well, it helps us maintain our lifestyle." Maintain their lifestyle. Not survive, not keep the lights on, not pay medical bills. Lifestyle. And that's when my mom chimed in. She said I was lucky to have a good job, that I didn't have kids or a wife, that I could afford to help them enjoy their retirement. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. They genuinely didn't think they'd done anything wrong. I asked my dad about the medical bills they told me year one. My dad waved his hand, said that got resolved through insurance years ago. I asked about the house repairs. My mom laughed, said they had refinanced at a lower rate and had plenty of equity. Every reason they'd given me was either outdated or a complete exaggeration. They just kept taking, because I kept giving, and they'd gotten comfortable. I drove home in complete silence. Didn't cry, didn't yell, just numb. I canceled the automatic transfer that night. A week later, my mom called, angry, said I was being selfish, that family takes care of family. I told her family doesn't lie to family. She hung up on me. We didn't talk for 8 months. And you know what I learned in those 8 months? The hardest financial lesson I've ever had to learn. Helping people and enabling people are two completely different things. When you help someone, you're giving them support to get back on their feet. When you enable someone, you're funding their choices while sacrificing your own future. I wasn't helping my parents. I was enabling them to live beyond their means by living below mine. And the worst part? I did it to myself. They asked, but I never verified, never asked for proof, never set boundaries. I just kept sending money because it made me feel like a good son. But you know what actually makes you a good son? Not destroying your own financial future out of guilt. Here's what I wish someone had told me at 27. If someone you love asks for financial help, it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to see the bills. It's okay to say, "Show me the numbers." That's not distrust, that's wisdom. And if they get defensive when you ask, that's your answer right there. Second, set a time limit. If you're helping someone, there should be an exit plan. 3 months, 6 months, a year, not forever. Help should be a bridge, not a subscription service. Third, never give so much that it prevents you from building your own life. The airplane oxygen mask rule applies to money too. Secure your own future first, then help others from a position of strength. I'm 41 now. I finally bought a small condo last year, started investing, building the life I should have had 10 years ago. My parents and we talk now. It's different. There are boundaries. I help them when there's a real emergency, but I verify, and I decide the amount, not them. And honestly, they respect me more now than when I was just handing over money every month. Because here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Unconditional financial support doesn't build healthy relationships. It builds dependency and resentment on both sides. You can love your family and still protect your future. Those two things aren't opposites. They're both necessary. So if you're sending money to someone right now, parents, siblings, friends, Ask yourself this: are you helping them solve a problem, or are you funding a lifestyle while sacrificing your own? Because 20 years from now, you're going to look back at that choice, and you'll either feel proud or you'll feel what I felt sitting at my kitchen table at 2 in the morning, staring at $172,000 I'll never get back. Make the choice that 40-year-old you will thank you for.